In the last module, we saw that Alice, the cook, put Kezia to bed. But at the time, Kezia had a concern, and her concern was what she would do if she had a nightmare. And here we begin. But the same old nightmare came. The butcher with a knife and a rope, who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile, while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, "Grandma! Grandma!" She woke shivering to see father beside her bed, a candle in his hand. Nightmare, we already know, a scary dream, and butcher is the one who slaughters, who kills animals for their meat and sells. The same. So, what was Kezia's nightmare? That a butcher was approaching her with a wicked, with a dreadful is wicked, unpleasant smile and a knife in his hand. And Kezia could not even move, he could not do anything, and she was just crying. She was calling her grandmother for help. Just then she woke up shivering. What do you mean by shivering? When our body shakes, it trembles, maybe out of fear or cold, but here it was out of fear in Kezia's case. And when she woke up, what did she see? She saw her father beside her bed with a candle in his hand. "What's the matter?" he said. So he wanted to know why the girl had shouted, and here for the very first time we see his concern for his daughter Kezia. "Oh, a butcher, a knife. I want Granny." He blew out the candle, bent down and caught up the child in his arms, carrying her along the passage to the big bedroom. Now, the father had understood the girl was scared as she had a bad dream, she had a nightmare. But the grandmother was not at home. Kezia's mother had fallen ill, so they both had gone to the hospital. Father took the girl in her arms and took her to his bedroom, the big bedroom. Here, blew out means extinguished. Father extinguished the candle. Bent is second form of bend, B-E-N-D. Caught is again second form of catch, C-A-T-C-H. A newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper to make space for Kezia, then carefully, see the word carefully, tucked up the child. Tucked up the child, covered up nicely in bed. Meaning has been given here. He lay down beside her. We have seen this word lay for the second time in the same chapter, L-A-Y. This is again second form of lie. Lie, lay, lain. Beside her, half asleep still. Still with a butcher's smile all about her it seemed. She crept close to him. The girl, Kezia, had not forgotten about the dream completely, and she was still a bit petrified. She crept close to him. She is Kezia, and the word him is used for her father. Crept is again second form of the word creep, C-R-E-E-P, creep. And the girl moved towards her father as she was still petrified, still afraid, snuggled her head as to feel safe, as to feel protected. She snuggled her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. Snuggled is to move to another person, to move to a comfortable place. Held again is second form of hold. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still. Lay still, quiet. She was not moving. She felt comfortable, she felt safe, she felt protected as her father was around. "Here, rub your feet against my legs and get them warm," said father. So again you can see his concern for his daughter. Tired out, he slept before the little girl. Tired out, he must have been working as our parents do throughout the day, so he slept quickly even before the little girl could sleep. a funny feeling came over her. And what was that funny feeling? All these things are extremely important in this last page. Poor father, not so big after all. Why did she say poor father? As he had to do the work throughout the day. Now the girl had realized, a realization had come upon the girl that her father was not so hard-hearted and gigantic as she took him to be. Not so big after all, and with no one to look after him, and she had her grandmother to look after her every time. He was harder than grandmother. You remember when the grandmother went to pacify Kezia, the child clung to her soft body. So here is that comparison. But it was a nice hardness. Why was the hardness nice? Because the girl felt protected. She felt safe. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. McDonald. What do you mean by to be a Mr. McDonald? That means he could not manage to squeeze out time from his busy, tightly packed schedule to play with his daughter. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. Now she realized what her mistake was. She stirred, suddenly moved, and sighed. We read this word in the poem The Road Not Taken. On her part, that was a sigh of regret, remorse, ruefulness, and of course realization. When we understand the things, then we are able to see the true picture. Earlier the girl thought that her father not only appeared as a giant but also had the heart of a giant. What's the matter? Asked her father. Another dream? Because the girl moved. That's why father asked that question. Oh, said the little girl, my head's on your heart. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father dear. So she could understand her father very well, and that he loved her dearly. That is why even on being tired, he could hear the girl's cries and came to her, took her to his room and made her feel comfortable. So we should also try to understand our parents. Kezia could hear her father's heart going. That means she could understand how much love her father carried for her in his heart. Thank you. Feel free to contact in case of any doubt.